Well, and then it's one of the very few of these schools that's left now, the Rosenwald schools. And we are told that it's in probably one of the best conditions of any of them that are left now. So we're just so glad that we were able to keep it in the condition that it is and pretty much intact just like it was when it was, in use back all those many years. And
Our church uh, was established turn of the century and really was built by uh, former slaves that were part of the Kane family, part of the Lipscomb family, um, Cameron family, and a few others, McMahon family, and like I said, a few others in the area. And they had the vision to want to make a difference in the community. It was marvelous that it's established right beside of a piece of history, and the church ended up acquiring the school once the school closed in the 1940s. And as a result, we've had the opportunity to work with the community to try to educate them on some of the history of the school itself, as well as the community at large. I know that others will be talking about the establishment and the vision that Julius Rosenwald had, along with Booker T. Washington. But really, what really stands out to me is the community members that grabbed hold of that vision and wanted to partner with them. And so, right much of the funding that came to establish the school as it was built, the community members had to rally together to be able to do that. But I do want to acknowledge really the vision that they had to say there's a need for minority students, specifically black students in the South, across some 17 states, that there's really need for education there. And of course, they did that at a time in which we as a nation were segregated. There was a population that was intent to make others feel inferior from a social standpoint, from an economic standpoint, as well as from an educational standpoint. And so for those two to really have a desire to make a difference in the lives of black children in particular, it really speaks volumes. They were really ahead of their time. And so with the community partnering with them, the Russell School was established.
Also, I think that what is void in our young people is the respect for history. So history is history. So I think that I also would like for them to know about collaborative efforts and the son of Jewish immigrants and a black man in the Jim Crow era, for them to come together and come up with this idea of creating these schools for black children and for them to work together. I think that the harmony that they had is something that I wish and pray for our young people. The diversity and the acceptance and just being able to love one another. And we're all in this together. So I think that that's really important in regards to the history. And that's what we need young docents. We need them to be able to understand the history of the school. So we welcome them as well. But it's really important for them. Sometimes they have this entitled mentality. So they need to understand how the boys woke up and it was cold, and they still got wood, and they were still pleasant because they wanted to learn for the day. So those are some of the things, hopes that I have for the young people.
For me, I think it would be great for them to understand and to remember that there was somebody that was interested in the black community to set up a school for the black students, because probably otherwise we would not have got the learning that we did get without this school. And the person that donated this school, I would like for them to always know that it was very historical for a person to think enough of black people, the black students, to try to do something to help change the life, and it did make a big difference in the life of the black students. I would like for them to understand this, that this was a place that was given for the black students by somebody that cared.
I think it was a wonderful idea for Mr. Booker T. Washington and Mr. Rosenwald to set up a school for the black students so they could be educated. But now it's historical, and the children now need to know about this school, how it was set up, and what it was used for back in those days. Because when the black children came up, we didn't have a school to go to until Little River was built. So I think it was a good idea for Mr. Booker T. Washington and Mr. Rosenwald to set up the school. And now this school, we have this place where the children from different schools, if they want to tour the school, to come in and tour the school. We have somebody to guide them and tell them about the school and how it was built, who built it, and stuff like that. And I think it's a good idea for what the school is used for now. So the children can come in and tour. Anybody can come in and tour. We have open tour days for people to come in. And I think it's just a wonderful idea. And I think when the children come in, there's a lot that they can learn about it. And, just to think about how, the black students didn't have a school, and how the school was built, and how, the children, how we came up. Yeah, I think it's a wonderful idea.
A lot of people don't really realize that Rosenwald, not only did he have schools, he had hospitals, he had many programs going on, and I found that quite interesting. So I got involved, I started digging, because I'm a history buff also, and I found out that the Russell School, and I said, really? This is a place, a real place? And that's how I got involved through my husband's family and just being nosy. And Russell School is just, it was left here for a moment, for a reason, because everybody have a love for the school. They may not date on to give, but just to come and see, that's all we want them to do. Rosenwald, he had a vision that, oh my goodness, it had to be. What is that Jewish word? Tadasha? Righteousness. Doing right with people, loving people, and seeing life for what it is. And life is learning. He was a lifelong learner. He was one of the people you could call a lifelong learner. And that's what our people want to be. He thought enough of life to let others be also a lifelong learner. And the Russell School is here today for that very reason. Not for documentaries, not for movies, not for fried chicken, but lifelong learning.
I would just like to say that I am proud of this Russell School. And I thank Mr. Rosenwald and Mr. Booker T. Washington for preparing this school to get the black people ready to do what they endeavor to do. And again, I just cherish this school. because this is where I got my beginning. Thank you.